Alright, hello everyone. I am back with another cleaning and restoring. This one we will be doing an original Xbox controller. This one is themed as Steelers, and it's really old. It still works fine, but I have like 100 controllers for the Xbox, and I don't like these ones. I like the Duke controllers. So I decided to do this one for this episode. It has the messed up thumbstick. And I actually already started this off video. Long story short on why that happened. Basically, I couldn't get it apart, so I thought maybe these grips were holding both pieces together and you had to take those off. I didn't want to do that. But I found out that they weren't, so I restarted the video. So the first thing I did was took these two pieces of the wire that connects it to the Xbox off. If I could even get them back together, that'd be a miracle and a half. There we go. So this basically, right here is where it connects to the Xbox. And if you go down to this big bulky spot right here, you can actually take this apart. I'm not sure why, just maybe it's easier to wrap this around the controller than with this hanging off. So the only reason I'm showing you this is so that you can like use some compressed air or just your mouth to clean inside here. And also inside here. So we're going to keep that off for right now. And there's actually 8 screw holes. They're all Phillips head screws, and I would suggest using a magnetically tipped screwdriver because it really helps get us, especially these 2 screws. I had really big issues getting out. But there's 8 screw holes. There's one here, one here, one here, one here, which is hard to get to. Then on the same side, on the other side, it's the exact same thing. Again, these 2 are really hard to get to. So I've actually already taken the liberty. It took me a long time to get the screws out, so that's why it's also not a part of this video. The wire gets in the way all the time in these controller videos. So now we're going to take it apart in halves. Now, I ran into an issue getting around the grippy part last time, but it seemed like it did want to come apart. Yeah, the grip is actually staying with the black half of the controller, or the top half where all the buttons are, if that helps you in any way. I'm trying to describe it as I'm taking it apart, so I'm kind of like stuttering really bad. And it's really tight around the grippy parts, and you just gotta fight it basically to get it apart. It's not going to want to come apart, but at the same time, it has to. Now, I've got it on this side, it came apart. Like I said, it just doesn't want to. Okay, so it's apart down here. Let's just go all the way around the controller. I really don't like this idea. It feels like it's going to break almost, and it's really scary, actually, when you do this, because you're pulling so hard that you can feel it actually, like, morphing in your hand. That's not what you want to happen. It actually just all snapped back together in my hand, like, completely by accident. So now we gotta basically pull this apart. So I'm actually gonna try to get this apart off camera. But basically, the only idea I have is to keep pulling it, because there's no screws holding it together at this point. So, I'm just gonna take it apart off camera. Okay, I finally got this thing apart. And my thumb is sore because it kept getting pinched in the controller. And, here's the grippy thing. It actually fell off when I took the 2 halves apart. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to. It's really dirty inside there, and the grip is just dirty because it's supposed to be yellow. But it's like a mustard color, and that's disgusting. So I finally got the 2 halves apart. This one's tangled in the wire. This is the bottom. Where's the other grippy? Take the other grippy out too. So we'll actually separate these by sides so I remember, because I won't. So, this part, it should come off without anything on it. If yours doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. But this can be cleaned on its own, because it's just a piece of plastic. There's nothing on here. I have a sticker on here I might try to get off. These, let me just check. These can also be cleaned on their own. They're just rubber and plastic. But you want to make sure that you hand dry these after. You don't want to let them air dry, because rubber and hand drying will make it crack. You want to wet it and then dry it as soon as possible. You can use cleaning products on it, just make sure they won't like make the rubber turn really brittle. So let's just keep those separated by side here. Now there seems to be a lot of intense wiring going on here that I really don't know what half of it is. These look like they spin, and that's kind of scary. Like I said, I don't know if I said this yet. Okay, this comes out. This is where like the memory cards plug into the back. This can be cleaned on its own because it's just a piece of plastic also. The real question is, how does this big thing come out? Okay, well, while I observe this, I'm going to talk. Basically, I haven't done this anything that I am taking apart, I haven't seen the inside of yet. So I have no clue if this can even go back together on its own. I never saw the inside of an Xbox controller before. So this is a learning experience for me just as much as it is for you guys watching this. Alright, so it seems like both triggers have a tiny little black screw holding them in place. So I'm going to take that out. Also, I'm pretty sure I said this in the... I keep mixing up things I've already said, because, like, for example, I might have accidentally said something in the game tablet video, but not in this one. I didn't post that, so now I can't remember if I said it or not. But, I'm going to say it anyway. If you're doing any sort of taking apart of something, do not, under any circumstances, have it connected to a power source. That is a terrible idea if you do, because the thing could still be, like, powered on the inside. You don't know that. So, I can't get the screw out. It's just like every other screw in this controller. This is such a pain. I don't know why this won't come out. Okay, no, I just got a better idea. Did I get a better idea? I think I did. Okay, so you don't want to take the triggers off, so screw that back into place. Because I think this whole thing can just come out on its own. Actually, I'm sorry. Like I said, learning experience for me. You do have to unscrew these, but I'm not sure if they're supposed to come all the way out. If they're just supposed to be loosened. So you're going to want to loosen the screws next to the triggers, but I won't take them out. One, so I don't lose them. And two, because I can't. Okay. Okay, now that those are unscrewed, we're going to physically take this out. This whole thing right here. Now this should come apart relatively easily. And I'm trying to flip it over so you guys can see. This is basically, this is your D-pad right here, and you can take the little rubbery piece off if you want to. You can actually clean the rubbery piece. So I'm trying to see if I can disconnect these things as well. These little things down by the handles of the controller, they don't seem like they can be disconnected or taken out unless they just pull out. Oh, they just pull out, okay. So there's two little black, like, I don't know if they're going to be black on yours, but there's two little black things down here. All you have to do is pop those out by the rubbery part. Actually, this one's not coming out as easily. Why did that one come out so easily? I would assume you just pop these out. But the other one popped out and this one won't. Okay, it came out. It just needed a little persuasion. Because these things had big lumps of glue on them. No wonder this one, the glue was actually still holding on. The other one it wasn't. So right here, what I'm holding is the brain of an Xbox controller. Now, obviously, the controller wouldn't work without this. And the turbo button fell out. This one had a turbo button, which is right here on the controller. It just fell out. You can clean the turbo button if you have it. It's just a piece of plastic. Again, I'm going to actually put this up here because it's clear and I don't want to lose it. So we're just going to set this aside, and that'll get the wire out of the way also, which will be really helpful. Okay, so now you have the controller, or what's left of the controller. You can slide the whoops, that actually I guess was what I wanted to do. It doesn't really matter. So, you take this little rubbery part off the buttons, and you can wash that as well as the D-pad rubber. So I'm going to put that with everything else that's washable, which is all over here. And you have your buttons. Here's the white and the black button. And once you take off the rubbery pieces, these buttons should just come out. If they don't, then you have a problem. There was a piece of like Velcro stuck inside this controller. And then we'll take out the A, B, X, Y buttons. And the the pause and the back button came out with them. We're just gonna put everything up here. And you can pop the D-pad out too. Okay, so I just said that in like a weird accent. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so now that you have everything out of the controller, you can clean everything you took out. Remember, the rubbery parts you want to hand dry. Everything else you can clean on its own. Just don't even remotely attempt to clean this. Just don't even. Not even the thumbsticks, unless you somehow take those off, but I'm not, because I don't think they need cleaned. So I'll be back after I clean it to reassemble everything. Remember, let everything air dry on its own. Don't try to hand dry anything except the rubber parts. This is just a little side note that I'm throwing in to help you guys. If your controller is like this one and had blobs of glue on these little black um, foam things, I would suggest keeping the glue on because it could actually help the pieces kind of fall into place better and stay still inside the controller because we kind of ripped them off. So that was just a little side note. I'm waiting for all the pieces to dry, so I'll be back with the reassembling. Alright, I am back, and I am now assembling the controller. I'm not sure how well this is going to go. Where's my screwdriver? It's up here. Okay. Before I start, let me just say that these two rubbery pieces, if your controller has them, they actually are labeled on the inside left and right. I didn't notice this when I took them apart because you saw I was trying to separate them. There's an L inside of it and an R inside of it. They each have a number after it. I'm not sure what the number represents because this says R3 and this says L4. So I'm not sure what that means. But I have all my parts around me. I have the brain right here. I have the two halves of the controller over here and everything else on this side. So I'm just going to basically put this back together. So actually I want to start with the top half, where you would see all the buttons and everything, because that's exactly what I'm going to do, is put all the buttons back in. So B would be, I have to think here, B is over here. They do make it so that the buttons fit into place accurately. So X is across from B. Not sure if it goes this way. Okay, it goes that way. They do make like little slots so that it fits in like snugly and that it won't fit in the wrong spot or it won't fit in like upside down. That wasn't even a voice crack. My voice just like gave out for a second. Now I'm not sure if the back and the start buttons are different. I'm trying to fit them into place here. You can't really see what I'm doing, but I mean, all I'm doing is putting the buttons back into place. Is that right? Oh yeah, that's right. The back and the start buttons even have ways to fit them into place. Yeah, that's how that has to go. Even if not, it doesn't really tickle my fancy if it's not in the right spot. The D-pad has to go with this. There's a little notch on your D-pad telling you which way it has to go. The notch has to be facing up. Oh god, I think black goes on the bottom. I can't remember. I haven't played an Xbox in a while now. Okay, black goes on top actually. Black goes closer to the A, B, X, Y buttons, and white goes down farther it looks like, because they fit into place that way. Alright, so I think we have to put the rubbers over top of them now. This is a weird rubber. Okay, it goes on this way. Okay, there's nothing to hold the rubber in place. It's kind of weird. Sorry if I'm like acting different. It's like 11 o'clock at night since I recorded the dismantling of this thing. So it's been quite a long time. So let's put the rubbers back into place. I guess this back and the pause buttons don't need a rubber. Put the, what's this called, turbo button back into place. I'm just really tired. Okay, does it go like that? Yeah, it has to go like that. Okay, so I'm assuming now I have to put in the brain. So remember that the wire has to be up like this. The wire has to be facing the direction that the wire goes, obviously. I'm just saying stuff that you guys would know off by heart. Okay, that fits in like that. Okay, now that that's in place, we need to get the little black things in place. That sounded racist. It wasn't meant to be. Actually, it looks like there's notches in the foam of where this went into place. It definitely went with the glue like that, I hope. I remember this side was hard to get. Let's do this side first. Get the wire out of the way. Okay, make sure the thing is fully down because it seems like this wants to push up. So I would push it down and actually screw the triggers back into place as well. Because remember there were two tiny screws on each side of the trigger that we loosened to take this thing out. So we're going to tighten those so that this doesn't like flop out of our hands like a penis. Alright, so that should be stable now. And this wire seems to be all twisted. Okay, so now we're going to put these little black things into place, and these were like little sluts. I'm not sure how this even went back in all honesty. If I did remember, I would tell you guys, honestly. Actually, that looked like it went well. Okay, so the glue went down, and basically, there's no other way to put it. The glue went down, so hopefully if yours has a bunch of glue on it, you'll be able to put yours back into place, because that's the only way I seem to be able to figure this out. Now I realize why this one was so bad, because it's wider than the other one, but it has the same size hole, basically. And that and the glue was there, too. I'm trying to, like, force this guy down. He's not wanting to go. But I'm not sure if that'll actually cause a problem or not. Okay, so I think next we should put this piece in. I sounded really homosexual. I was like, this piece. I didn't even try to do that. Move the wire out of the way, and I think this just kind of fits into place. Yeah, that didn't take much energy, I guess. The wire is going to fit, like, the wire actually has a notch where it lines up with the memory card port. I'm not sure if I guess it goes this way. Actually, I don't know which way it goes. But that's not actually what we have to put next. Next we have to put the two rubbers back in. I just want to make sure this thing is not as far down as this one, and I'm afraid that this is going to be like pushing the other half of the controller back up, and I won't be able to close it all the way. So I'm trying to force it down as much as possible, and it's not wanting to go down at all. It almost feels like I'm putting it in wrong, but I know for a fact that I'm not. Let's actually pick the glue off. That might be the issue here. Okay, yeah, if you're having an issue getting that thing off, just take the glue off. That seemed to work for me. Okay, so now that the glue is off, I want to put the two rubbers back into place. So it goes as if you're holding it like this. So this is the left, so that'll be on this side. It'll be the opposite goes on the opposite side basically. So the left goes on the right side, and the right goes on the left. But this doesn't want to seem to go. This doesn't want to seem to go in, unless this goes with this. I'm just having a rough night, everyone. So this goes on the actual left side of this now. Yep. Okay, it fits in as snug as a pug on a rug. Okay. Actually, as snug as a bug on a pug on a rug. Okay, so put the two rubbers back into place. Is this in the right direction? No, I think it goes in the other way. Actually, I can't tell which way this fits in. No, this definitely has to go in this way. It fits very it fits in very snug, let's just say that. Okay, that's into place. Now we put the two halves of the controller. This is not going to go well together. I'm not sure which way the wire goes. That's the thing. Okay, the wire goes with the more rounded part facing up this way, away from it basically, and it kind of fits in there. Actually, that fit in there very easily. And you put the two halves of the controller back together. And I knew this was going to be an issue, that these are going to get in the way, so I think we actually have to they actually snap in last, maybe, because I realize they do only fit in one way. Okay, so let's screw this all back together now. The wire is kind of pushing up a bit, so you're going to have to put some force in when you screw it back together. I'm going to screw the two halves back. Okay, is the screw getting traction? Yes, it is. Okay. I hate whenever the screws don't get, like, grip and they can't, like, grab and screw tight, because then you don't feel like you did anything right. You feel like the inside's messed up. And I've never actually done a controller and tested it afterwards. I did an SNES controller once, but I didn't do anything to it. I just opened it up because it was rattling and took the piece out that was rattling and put it back together. I didn't have to take the electronics out like I did for this. So I've never actually done a controller and tested it afterward to see if it works still. I'm assuming this works fine, because everything is in the same place, and the brain, which is like the big mechanism, didn't have to come apart at all. Because some controllers you have to take that apart, and that's when it's like scary, because you're just like, oh god, how do I put it back together? Like I did in the PS1, I had to take the brain apart in a bunch of different pieces. And I'm sorry if there's like a weird jump in the video. I don't know if I'm going over 15 minutes. I may have to like cut it into two parts. I'll get it as close as I can. If I either repeat a part of the video or skip a tiny part, I probably didn't skip anything because I'm doing nothing right now besides screwing pieces back together. I also wanna. It smells like bleach really bad down here because my friend gave me a broken Wii, and it says parts only on the side in Sharpie. And I really want to. I was trying to get the Sharpie off for one thing, and I'm gonna not break it open, but I'm gonna open it and see if I can get it working again. Highly doubt I can, but I might as well, right? Because I seem to know what I'm doing apparently. Even though this really isn't that hard, guys. All you have to do is take something apart and put it back together like you took it apart. All right, this is the last screw here. Then we'll put in the two rubbery side grippy things. And every screw gripped pretty well, so I feel like I did pretty well on this controller, actually. I was nervous putting it back together, to be totally honest. Okay, this is the left. Okay, this seems really off. I think it just kind of snaps back in. Okay, I'm not sure how to get these rubbers back on, honestly. Yeah, these rubbers definitely had to go in whenever I had it apart. So, on that note, I guess I'll leave that video here because now, I mean, I'm assuming this is still a fully functional, controller. It's not like I'm going to run into issues because I don't use this controller at all anymore. Everything else went together really well. I don't have any worries for anything besides these two rubbers. I will just take I won't do it on video, but I'll take this apart and put these back in. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So if you liked it, check out some of my other cleaning and restoring videos, and please leave a like or subscribe.